Hello friends, welcome to Employability Plus with you Arun. In today's video, we are going to see how to use data modeling in Power BI. Say when I say data modeling, why it is important we are going to see and how to use now how to build relationship between different tables in Power BI. That's what we have in store for today. Now, before we get into that, let me just give a quick idea. If you want to recall certain incident in your life, or if you want to recall certain information, what we generally do, we store certain informations through an association, whether consciously or unconsciously. We have a tendency to store the life incidents, okay, certain specific people through certain association. So when I say Sachin Tendulkar, immediately I may recall Bharat Ratna, Indian cricketer, or a Mumbai Indians, because the information of Sachin Tendulkar, right, has been stored in association with various other informations in our brain. We have different shelves, okay, where we have connected one particular information, a personality, through with various other, mapping information, right? So this is how generally we process information. We build association between various informations, various things, right? A simple example what I said. Now I want to give another example for your understanding. Let's say you want to build a library system, right? Now assume you are a patron, right? You are a person who's visiting a library. So what do you do generally if you want to retrieve a book, or if you want to identify the location of a book? What we generally do, we go to a particular shelf or a section first, a particular section where you identify the book, where you identify the book which you are trying for or looking for. Now when I say shelf, it may be like, the shelf can be a fiction or non-fiction, right, based on your book category, right? So they will arrange the books basis of their genre, which is like it can be a fiction or it can be a non-fiction or whatever category, a biography or whatever. Now section is what first thing you need to identify. Then you can go to that section where you will find shelves, right? In that shelves you have different, like, in a sense, different categories based on certain themes. They will have it, or based on authors they may have it, based on publication publishers they may have it, right? So the books are organized based on these things, right? So shelf can be another identifier. Even then you need to have certain unique identifiers like ISBN. If you are not finding all this information, obviously you will reach out to the librarian, right, to look for more details about where the book is kept. Those informations are critical for you, in order to retrieve the book or bring the book to the home, right? So a library system is built in such a way that there will be a lot of relationship between each things, right? So that you can easily retrieve what you are looking for. Similar way similar way database also have to be, you know mapped, or let's say tables have to be related. Now when I say book library system, you also have to understand how the books are organized, right, identified, so that it can be accessed very quickly, right? So here organization is very important, and we need to identify based on certain mapping, based on certain relationship, right? And then we have to access it. Now when I say this one, in a typical database we may not have all the informations what we wanted. Sometimes we need to source the information from various other data sources, right? Your data may not be completely full. It has to be, in order to complete that, we need to, find information from various other sources. There should be some kind of relationship we need to have in order to, retrieve those informations that we are going to see, right? Now, in a nutshell, as a definition, Power BI in Power BI data modeling, or in not necessarily it has been Power BI. Across universal data modeling refers to the process of designing and structuring your data. Right? It's similar to your blueprint what you have, right? In order to retrieve information, you should also know where it is located. So that has to be in a structure, proper structure information, right? So we have to design it in such a way it can be retrieved very easily by the users, right? And it also involves organizing your data, defining relationship between tables, which I told you, and creating calculation and so on and so forth. Let's see what it is. And as I said earlier, the key elements here we need to be very clear, which is tables, relationships, measures. Measures can be aggregations, right? It can be a sum, count, or max, minimum, whatever it is, right? And data types. What type of data it is, whether it's a string or an integer or boolean or whatever, right? All these things have to be involved or included in this relationship. Now, before we move on and see how it can be done in Power BI, let me reiterate that the tables which we have in a Power BI, or for that matter any database, it has, when you're working on a data modeling, you have to remember this called fact table and dimension tables. So when I say fact table, you may when I say fact table, you may consider that as a you know uh, information table, or quantitative data, right? Or actual data, whatever it is, which means that something has happened. Okay, if it is a sales is what you are doing, sales analysis, then there may be a transaction would have happened, there may be some transaction, right? So it can be the transaction may result in sales amount, sales quantity sold, or it can be revenue you generate or profit you generate. All these things are numbers, okay, which tells you what has happened in the business, which is the fact, what actually happened. In put it in another way, fact, right? Now these are sales amount, quantity, so on and so forth. Now for this also we need to have certain identifiers. We need to know which product has been sold, right? Which customer has bought, right? So those things are also very important. Though it is a quantitative data, you need to have certain labels in order to identify those things, right? So that is why we need to have product ID and customer ID in the fact table. Similarly, we have something called dimension tables. Dimension tables talks more about your fact table, talks more, which means it gives multiple dimension to your actual data, which is the fact data. Which means here in fact table, you need not to store all the information about the product, what you have sold. All you require is a product ID. However, you might have to have separate table, right? Which exclusive for products. That is a product table. Now this product table might have informations like product ID, product name, category, and so on and so forth. All informations necessary for do various analysis in Power BI. Similarly, for customers, you may connect with customer ID in your fact table. That is all you would require there. One thing which is customer ID. However, customer ID, you also need to know who is that customer, from where he has come, what is his age, what is his gender, because these are very important for segmenting your customer, market segmentation, in order to promote your product effectively, right? So we need to have all those things in a separate table. Similarly for date, because we need to do a lot of analysis like week analysis or yearly analysis, monthly base, right? Trend analysis, when you do, we have to do this kind of date based, right? Month, quarterly and all, right? Now for that also, or in case if you want to do certain forecasting, this is very very essential when you do a forecasting date. So for that we need to have various other information which can be stored in a separate table called date, right? So here we are going to see how to build a relationship between a fact table and dimension table, so that you can retrieve all the information, right, in your, or let's say retrieve all the information, or use all this information for your future data analysis. So please remember, the relationships are very critical here. It has to be defined, right? When I say relationship definition, it can be a one-to-one relationship, right? It can be one-to-many relationship, or it can be many-to-many relationship. In this case, we are sales is connected with product, right? Let's see that in a visual, so you'll understand better this one, right? Yeah. So we have something called store. This is a dimension table, store dimension table. This is a product dimension table, and this is a date dimension table, and this is called fact table, which is the actual sales transaction data. It's a transaction data which has which is talking about the actual what happened actually, right? So date key, product key, and all those stuff has been included here. It's an actual sales data, right? Now we are going to connect this with the dimension table, which means the date key I'm going to connect with date key here in date dimension so that I can retrieve all the fields from here. Similarly, if I connect the sales key with the, or let's say store key with this store key, I can able to retrieve all the information, so like city, country to this table or to my analysis. Similarly, if I relate, right, the product key with this product dimension, I can retrieve other fields like category, price, product name, all those things to the sales factor. So basically, through these keys, like a data key, product key, I can able to retrieve all those information. Now, please remember in this data set, maybe product key may be the unique identifier, which is called primary key. But this product key, when it refers here from this table, if I refer, this becomes a foreign key, right? The unique identifier of this fact table, right? Similarly, you have store key here, it will be referred, right, as a foreign key for this particular table. So let's get into Power BI and see how it can be done, right? Why are we waiting for? Let's see how it can be done in Power BI. So before I begin, I just want to show you how the output is going to be once we have done. Now look at this particular chart. This particular chart is made out of three different tables, not a single table, which means the transaction, whatever you are seeing here, I picked it from the fact table, right, which is a sales fact table, right? This transaction, which means the value which we are seeing, right? Now, similarly, the category of the items, the products, which is fashion, furniture, what you're seeing in the bottom, right, in the x-axis, all are fetched from the product dimension, not part of the sales fact. Similarly, you are seeing the month. It has been categorized based on the month, like February and January. Now, this information is not available in sales fact table. So that also has been taken from date dimension. So basically, what we have done here is we have used three different tables to create this particular analysis beautifully. Right now, let's see from the scratch, right, how it can be done. Right. Let's see that. So the data has been uploaded already for your understanding. We have date dimension, product dimension, sales fact. So I have uploaded all these things using the get data option. Okay, I've uploaded this one. So everything can be uploaded in one go. The previous videos I have shown you how to upload the data. So the data has been already uploaded. Let's proceed with that. Now, once you have done this particular thing of uploading the data, the next step you can do is try and see how it has been built, right? How it has been, the relationship has been built default. You can always modify the relationship, but once you uploaded the data, immediately default the model view will construct a relationship for the table. Right? Look at this thing, it has been already constructed. So your sales fact, let us bring this in the center because it's similar to your star schema, right? Why do I say star schema? Those who are very familiar with IT terminologies, like network topologies, right? Topologies you might find a various structure of arranging your computers. One of the thing is star, where all the nodes, computer nodes, all connected to one single server, which is center one, right? So everything will be connected to that particular server or the system. Similarly, here, this is the fact table. All the dimension tables, like look at this dimension table of product, or look at this store dimension, or date dimension, or if you have other dimensions also, although I don't have it on the top, all these things are connected to this particular center thing, which is a sales fact table. Right? This is a quantity table because this all talks about the transaction, what has happened in the business in this case, right? And these are the different dimensions to this particular table. Now you could find a star. This is a default. I have not done anything, I just uploaded the data. I came to this particular model view where I found this one because it has been default created based on the data which you have uploaded. Now in this case you have something called star and one. Basically, what it means here is it says that this is one to many relationship. It means you have here, like in the sense here you have this data, right? And store dimension. Let's say store key, right? Here we have the store key again. Store key in this table will be only one time because this is a unique table where store key will be presented only once, and all the information related to that particular store key, because store key may be the your primary key for this table. Store key is the primary key for this table. So what happens, the store key will have all the information, so it will be present only once. There will be no duplication. However, in the sales fact table, there will be a lot of duplication because it's a real transaction. Not necessary that one person, or let's say one store will do only one transaction in a day or a week. There will be multiple transactions would have happened. So this will have a lot of duplication in terms of store key. This is many star and this is one. Similarly, here in this case, the price of the product key, or let's say the product key here is the unique identifier, which is a primary key. This can be a foreign key for this table. This product key will be repeating only once. That says there will be no duplication in the product dimension table. Okay. However, in the transaction, the same product, right, bread may be sold to multiple customers, so there really have duplication, so it is a multi star here. Similarly, for date dimension, this is the actual data, which is a date key is a unique, and here same day multiple transactions. This is how the structure looks like. Okay, now using basically this sales table, we are going to fetch information from other tables and going to create analysis, right? So this is a quantitative data, and these are the qualitative data, which talks are having a dimension about the data, the field which you are referring to here, right? If this relationship is not clear to me, assume that it's not clear, this relationship is not clear, I can always click on this manage relationship, right? If I click on this manage relationship, I can able to see how it has been related. One table is related to another table. So basically, these are auto-detected, as I said earlier. Also, you can create your new relationship on your own also by just simply dragging and dropping the information. Right? Let's say if I want to, although it is very clear for me or very perfect for me, still I want to relate something to some other field. Then I can just drag the is number. Right? If I bring that into store key, okay, I can build the relationship in the sense product key bringing to store key. Okay, you will get a pop-up like this. A product key and store key have one-to-one relationship because there's no duplication in the sense both are not identical, right? If I want to change the relationship, I can change the relationship like this, right? So whenever you drag and drop, you get this pop-up where you can relate the tables. Now this is not an identical actual ideal relationship, but I'm just showing you how a relationship can be built in case if it is not default detected. But don't worry, it will get default detected. In case if it is not, you can always change the cardinality, or whether it is one to one, one to many, or many to one, or you can do a cross filtered direction, which I'll tell you how it can be done. Now, look at this particular data. I have not done that relationship because it's not natural, right? Now, in this case, you can see this filter option. That is what we have seen when I said two filters. Now this is one dimensional filter. You can see that from here it has been filtered this one. Similarly, from here store dimension it has filtered. These are the filters. Why it is in one direction, not in two direction? Because this is the fact table and these are dimension table, which means that when I put one, when I filter one particular product key, it will have multiple rows. It may filter from here in the sense this product key, if I filter, let's say the product key number is 123. Let's say the product key number is 123. This is only one present in this product dimension, which I'm going to use it as a filter. However, this product key might have various other numbers also, right? But it will filter all the rows which are related to this 123. So this is one side filter from product key. I can able to filter all the informations which are related to product key in this particular sales fact table. This is a one-way relationship. If let's say I'm bringing category to country name to build another relationship, right? Just category to country exactly. So it will show a relationship. Now category and country is not identical, but still I'm showing you here. I can pick single relationship or sorry, single filter or both. Like this, we can do that. But in this case, naturally, it has to be one way. So it is like this. You can see this, right? The task which I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up. I'm going to report this total sales amount based on certain dimensions. But the dimensions which I'm going to do not part of this table. Means the total sales report, I want to report it based on product name. Or let's say I want to report the total sales amount based on the category which is not available here. Similarly, total sales report, I want to show a quarterly report or say, let's say monthly report, month wise, which is not available here, which is available only here. Right? If I want to show the category based on the store dimension, which is available only here. Now, how to do this particular thing, right? Where I can, bring store dimension or product dimension, date dimension, all into one particular thing, where I have only total sales amount. Let's see how we can do that. Let's create, a column chart, right? Now you have the table view. It looks like this, and let's go to report view. Okay, and then what we are going to do is we are going to report the facts using the sales amount. However, at dimensions we are going to use it from various other tables. That is how relationship can be built, right? Now I'm clicking on this one, stack column chart. Folks, please remember I'm going to upload this data set so you can also practice it. Now you have the column chart. So the idea is to report the sales number. So what I'm going to do is in the x-axis, okay, I'm going to have the product category, right? And then in the y-axis, I'm going to show the sales numbers. So this is, please remember, right now I have used already two tables. One is a fact table for sales amount. Another table which I used is the product dimension. See this one, ticked, ticked. Two tables already used, right? So not one table. So this is possible when you relate tables. This is possible when you build relationship between tables, right? Now, the third one I'm going to use is, right, let's say in legend, okay, I'm going to use the, let's say date wise, which is month. There are 2 months, two different months, right? January and February. So I have already given that. Now it is given as 1 2, but it is month names are 1 and 2. Names are not given. So since we have take, okay, let's give names. Month name, let's give month name. Look at this one. We are going to see anyway in a bigger way, right? Now we already included three things. Now let's include the fourth one in small multiplier, right? To small multiplier, add, already we have added three different tables. Look at this one, first table, second table, and third table. Let's include fourth table, right, in store dimension. Let's include the state. Now look at this data, how beautifully it has been done. See, look at this data, the fact which we have shown now. Beautifully we have shown the fact of the sales performance, right, based on three other different tables. We used one table where the data is, we have data we brought, right, which is nothing but the fact what has actually happened. Now we used other dimensions to bring it like this. In a sense, we used what, a category which is nothing but appliances, electronics, fashion, furniture, which is not available in fact table. Then we brought the month January and February, which is not available in fact table, from date dimension. The third thing which we brought, which is nothing but state-wise analysis, which we brought from the store dimension table, which is not available in fact table. So this is all possible when you build relationship. This is a very simple way of explaining why it is important to build relationships in Power BI. I hope you understood this particular concept, right? Where we used three different tables, or let's say in this case, including fact table, we used four different tables to create one particular chart, right? So With this, I think I am ending this particular session. Now you understood why it is important to build relationship. What do you mean by building a relationship? What is primary key and how to relate it, right? And then how to create a column chart using 4 different tables. Thank you very much.